Section 4.2, you're given an angle and you're asked to find sine, cosine, and tangent of, on number 21, sine, cosine, and tangent of that angle. So our angle is negative 7 pi over 4. Folks, we need to use the unit circle. Use the unit circle, use the unit circle. Negative 7 pi over 4. Now, first of all, there's a positive 7 pi over 4 down here, but that would be effectively 315 degrees in the positive direction. We effectively have to look in the negative direction. Negative 7 pi over 4 would end up being coterminal at pi over 4. In other words, our x and y coordinates are right there. So quick refresher on how to find sine, cosine, and tangent. Sine of an angle on the unit circle is just your y value. So in this case, the sine of negative 7 pi over 4 would be the y value at where, well, it's coterminal with pi over 4. So it's going to be root 2 over 2. The cosine of an angle is equal to the x value on the unit circle. So it's going to be cosine of negative 7 pi over 4 equals positive root 2 over 2 as well. And then the tangent is going to be of your angle is your y value divided by your x value. Now, I probably could have chosen a more difficult one, but the tangent for this one, 7 pi over 4, would be root 2 over 2 over root 2 over 2. That's a lot of 2's going on there, but that whole thing just simplifies down to 1. So the biggest things for unit circles, remember, find where your angle is. Negative angles just go in the opposite direction, so you're going clockwise. But the sine is the y value in the unit circle, the cosine is the x value, and the tangent is the y over the x value. Now, section 4.4 has got some similarities. In general, the unit circle, we just said sine was equal to the y value. But in general, if you're not using the unit circle, it's the y value divided by the r. In other words, the radius or the distance from the origin to that coordinate that you're looking at. The cosine value is going to be your x value over your r. And the tangent is going to be no different. Tangent is equal to y over x. That's the same on the unit circle. So for example here, on number 11, I'm just choosing to do letter A. It gives you a picture of negative root 3 comma negative 1, but I'm just going to use those coordinates. You also need to remember r, which maybe I'll define that up here. R is equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared. You're essentially doing the Pythagorean theorem or doing the distance formula, same thing, to find the distance from the origin to that point. So in our case here, it's the square root of negative 3, sorry, goodness gracious, well, it's negative root 3, there we go, squared, plus negative 1 squared. Now, negative root 3 squared is, well, just 3. The negative gets canceled out because it's a negative times a negative, and then the square root also gets canceled out because it's the square root squared. The negative 1 squared is plus 1. And so we end up with the square root of 4. And, well, and since this is the distance, the square root of 4 is just going to be 2. So, going with our sine, cosine, and tangent, again, sine of whatever this mystery angle is that goes to that point, sine of theta equals our y value, negative 1, over our r value of 4. The cosine of that, whatever the angle is going to be the x value, square root of 3, over the r, which is 4. And our tangent is going to be y over x, so it's 1 over, sorry, negative 1. My goodness, I missed some negatives there. So negative root 3 earlier, sorry. It's y over x, so negative 1 over negative root 3. A couple things here. The negatives are going to cancel out, so we have 1 over root 3. But remember, we try to avoid having irrational numbers in our denominator, so we'll multiply by the root 3 on top and on bottom. So we end up with positive root 3 over 3. And those are our 3 trig values. Oh, sorry, I'm jumping around. So tangent equals root 3 over 3. The cosine is negative root 3 over 4. The sine is negative 1 over 4. Down at the bottom, we're asked to find, I'm going to have us find sine, cosine, and tangent of two angles. 750 degrees. Now, if we go to the unit circle, it's not on there. In fact, let me erase something here so that we're not losing track of what we're talking about. But 750 degrees is not on here, so we got to figure out where that is. Well, one full circle is 360 degrees. Two full circles is 2 times 360, which is 720. So that means we got to go 30 more degrees. In other words, it's coterminal with 30 degrees. So the sine and cosine and tangent of that is going to be found using the 30-degree reference angle. So sine of 750 degrees is going to be going to the unit circle. Again, it's on the it's coterminal with 30 degrees, so it's just going to be 1/2. Cosine of 750 degrees, again, cosine on the unit circle is the x-coordinate. So if you look at that, it's the root 3 over 2, just to demonstrate where that is. Cosine at 750 degrees, again, coterminal with 30 degrees, is root 3 over 2. The tangent is sine over cosine, or y over x, so it's 1/2 over root 3 over 2. We actually just got an answer very similar to this a minute ago. But anyways, cleaning this up, we got 1/2 times 2 over root 3. Remember, we multiply by the reciprocal. When we cancel some things out, the 2's cancel out, we're left with 1 over root 3. You may remember from the previous one that if we multiply top and bottom by root 3, we end up with root 3 over 3. So the tangent at that angle is root 3 over 3. So again, make sure you're finding out which coterminal angle you're on, if it's not one of the nice convenient angles, or if it's a negative angle. Make sure you're figuring that out. Make sure you remember that the sine, going back up to the top, the sine equals the y value, the cosine equals the x value, and tangent equals the y over the x. Similarly, 10 pi over 3. Again, not on the unit circle. Let me clear out that middle spiral there just to be clear. 10 pi over 3, well, that's the same as like 3 pi, or my goodness, my brain broke. 3 1/3 pi. So it'd be like 1 full circle, there's 2 pi, there's 4 pi. Oh, my goodness, I'm sorry, my brain broke for a second. It would be 1 pi, 2 pi, there we go, 3 pi, and then a little bit more. We'd have to go 1/3 pi more, so we're going to go that section right there. So it's coterminal with 4 pi over 3. In other words, it's coterminal with 4 pi over 3. So we're using the x and y values for cosine and sine. So the sine, sorry, I keep switching back to the notes. The sine of 10 pi over 3 is equal to the y value. In that case, it's negative root 3 over 2. Again, we're focusing on down here. So we got negative root 3 over 2. The cosine is the x value. So of 10 pi over 3, we got negative 1/2. And then I'm going to have to do the tangent over here because I'm running out of space vertically. We got tangent of 10 pi over 3. Again, it's the y value over the x value, which is negative root 3 over 2 divided by negative 1 over 2. I'm running out of space, but I'm going to fit this in. We got negative root 3 over 2 times negative 2 over 1. So the negatives can cancel out, the 2's cancel out, we're left with just the square root of 3, the positive square root of 3. So same procedures as last time on number 55. Just make sure that you're finding the coterminal angle. Make sure you remember that the sine is the y value, the cosine is the x value, and tangent is the y value divided by the x value. Or, in other words, the sine value divided by the cosine value.